Hi guys, it's Jez from Windows Central here. We are talking Blitz mode for Halo Wars 2. So first of all, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so I'm Max Schlagor, a design lead for Blitz at 343 Industries.
Cool. And I'm Ollie Smith. I'm actually from Creative Assembly. I'm the project lead on Blitz.
Okay, so Blitz mode is an all-new mode to Halo Wars 2, and to be frank, it's pretty unique. I'm struggling to compare it to anything else in another game. Do you guys want to just give us a quick run-through about what Blitz is and what people can expect from it?
Yeah, sure. So Blitz is kind of a fun and fast-paced new way to play real-time strategy. We've kind of brought those match times down to about 7 or 10 minutes. It's really kind of arcade-like. And the way we've managed to do that is by introducing these kind of card game mechanics where players can basically pick their favorite Halo units and powers and combine them together into a deck that represents their army. They take that army onto the field, and while they're in a match, they have this hand of cards. They can play directly into the action to bring those units and powers to bear. You can either play kind of 1v1 against an enemy, where you have to have a deck that can deal with anything you throw at it, or team up with some friends and get a bit more specialised, do some kind of support roles, guys kind of bringing out the heavy hitters, that kind of stuff. There's also Firefight as well, where players can work together to kind of defeat endless waves of AI and that kind of classic Halo shooter kind of style.
Cool. So Blitz mode ships as part of Halo Wars 2, and we were able to play it earlier. The Firefight mode, which is the mode with endless waves of AI enemies. In the presentation, we were told about the leader cards and that sort of thing, and you just mentioned the different roles that the different decks can take on, like support roles and that sort of thing. Could you give us some more examples about the different leader cards? Are you able to tell us more about that today?
Sure. Yeah. Go on, mate.
Yeah, so each of the leaders, they are basically themed to different kinds of play styles. Each leader will have more than one play style. So for example, a leader may be able to be an aggressive, swarmy kind of leader where they can play lots of cheap units. And they may also have the ability to have kind of maybe a very power kind of heavy, more controlling kind of style, you know, map control, unit control kind of thing. And, you know, you can mix and match these leaders in different team combinations, which makes for even more interesting kind of team compositions for, you know, how that works. Now, as for how those leaders, you know, what kind of specific cards they have. So as we've shown, Blitz pulls from the common pool of Halo Wars 2 kind of units and powers. What's unique about some of the ones that we have for Blitz are things like keyword units, for example, where you might have a unit that, you know, when it dies, it explodes and it'll destroy everything around it, or a guard unit that might soak the damage, you know, from all the nearby enemy units, basically. And so you'll see them themed basically where, you know, for those different types of play styles, you may see, you know, a guard unit on a leader that tends to be one that's a little more defensive, you know, buffs, you know, sort of locks down points in the map and things like that. You know, same thing with powers. So for example, if you've got a kind of a rushy, swarmy guy, you might have a, you know, a boost to movement speed for those units so they can move around the map faster. And those are the kinds of things that would be themed, you know, for each kind of leader.
Halo Wars 2 is Xbox Play Anywhere title. It's across Xbox One and PC. So, for example, I would argue that PC players have a slight advantage, especially a real-time strategy game, because of the keyboard. They can access cards much quicker using, you know, the number keys and that sort of thing. So presumably players won't be able to play PvP across Xbox One and PC, or how have you guys approached that?
So yeah, you're completely right. We wanted to make an experience that worked really well to the platform you were playing on. So we've made a lot of changes to the way you deploy cards depending on how you're playing. When you're playing on the Xbox, you pull the trigger and essentially fan those cards out, use a kind of radial system to pick and deploy those cards. Whereas on PC, you've got that kind of traditional, essentially you treat it like a skill bar. You've got those number keys, and by tapping those, you're bringing those cards out really quickly. So obviously having different control inputs kind of unevens the playing field, and we don't have cross-play with Blitz between PC and Xbox. What we do have though is your card collection will carry through. So whether when you're earning cards on the PC, you can then use those cards on your Xbox One, or all the decks that you've built will also transfer between the two.
What about the co-op mode? Because Gears of War 4's Horde mode is a PvE experience against the computer. Is that cross-play, for example? Is that something you're exploring at least?
No, not at the moment. No, we
Okay.
don't think. Yeah, well, it's the same kind of systems, and so we wanted to make sure that when we keep that playing field level.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks very much both of you for your time. I've been Jez from Windows Central. Check Windows Central out for more Halo Wars 2 coverage now and in the future. Thanks for watching, guys.